PhoneDog.com, and the battle of the QWERTY smartphones is upon us. You know, on T-Mobile you have the G2, on Verizon you have the Motorola Droid 2, on Sprint you have the Epic 4G. You have a bunch of devices that are available, a bunch of Android devices nonetheless, that are available with full QWERTY keyboards. Which one's better? You know we're going to have to do a dogfight. Motorola Droid 2, T-Mobile G2, both high-end devices, both flagship devices on their respective carriers. One supports 4G or 4G speeds, one doesn't, but do the features of the Motorola Droid 2 add up to make it better than the G2? Who knows? We're going to find out in the dogfight. Let's dive a little bit more in depth with Android 2.2 on these respective devices. And go into the widgets more specifically. Let me find an empty, if I can find one, an empty space here just to give you an idea of the widget differences between, you know, vanilla Android and Motorola Blur, or Moto Blur. So we have two blank pages here, and you can see, you know, of course it's Android, both have widget support. You'll see here you have Motorola widgets and Android widgets on this one, whereas you just have one widgets icon on this one. You know, vanilla Android, one set of widgets. Then you have your Motorola and Moto Blur widgets and Android on this. Now, you know, one thing I have to give Moto Blur a lot of credit for are the way the widgets look. So let's have a look just, for example, at messages. Throw it on the screen. And you can see not only is it a widget that appears on your home screen, but it's a customizable widget. You can move it up, down, make it larger, smaller, that way. Can't go that way. That way, up or down. Any way you want it to look. So, you know, there's a larger amount of customization from the Moto Blur widgets than there are the standard Android widgets, where it's analog clock, plop, you know, on the home screen, and no way to customize or change that out of the box, at least. You know, so it's not finance, you know, Dow Jones, bam, on the home screen. No way to customize it, no way to change the size. It just gives you the option to put it in one corner of the screen or another. Whereas with this one, the Motorola widgets are they do a great job on that front. So one thing, and it's one thing Moto Blur has as an advantage against Sense, against Samsung's TouchWiz user interface, against vanilla Android, that there's excuse me, there's no customization on that front, whereas on this one you can change it. So nice touch, very nice touch there. Let's have a look at the widgets. Now the one place that G2 has an advantage is out of the box it has a Google Voice widget. So you have your Google Voice inbox and Google Voice settings that you can add directly to your home screen, and you can see sign into Google Voice, which I'm not signed in on this device. And then you can sign in to see your messages. So you can see those all from the home screen or one of the home screens, and without having to go into the Google Voice application. So that's a nice touch there. Let me have a quick look at Android widgets. You can see now that this is running Android 2.2, one of my personal favorite widgets, which both have the News and Weather widget, Google's News and Weather widget, and you can configure it by having a combination widget, or you can separate it into weather and news. Now, because this is a Google widget, you know, it can't be customized. It's not a Moto Blur widget. Let's go up here, and you can see didn't want to load on the G2 for some reason. Let's use that. We'll go back and reset that in just a minute. But you get the idea that, you know, that's a decent widget, decent Android widget, and then you have the Google Voice widget options on the G2. So in terms of customization, you know, I have to give it to the Motorola Droid 2. I like the ability to customize the widgets. I like the ability to change them around, make them kind of me. And a particularly cool feature that I'll show you, we'll go out with the Motorola, let me find it here, Motorola Contact Quick Tasks. So we'll do payment, for example, and we'll set that up just for now. So you can see payments there, then I can customize it and make it larger or smaller. So for my contacts that I call frequently, I can put those on the home screen. That's a nice touch there. Widget support on here, if you're a Google Voice fan, you'll probably like the G2, but in terms of overall customization and widgets, I have to give it to the Motorola Droid 2. Now you see, because this one's running vanilla Android and this one's running Moto Blur, the docks at the bottom are slightly different. This is a very standard Froyo dock, whereas that's the toned down version of Moto Blur. Now that said, I just wanted to point that out. Let's jump into the browser for some browser comparisons just to get an idea. And let's go to PhoneDog. Pretty familiar with that site. I hear there are a lot of cool people work there. PhoneDog.com, PhoneDog.com, and watch this load. And we can test, you know, get a rough test of the speed of each device. Now you can see it's loading up on the G2 and loading up on the Droid 2 right now. So it's interesting to see, you know, Supposedly HSPA plus speeds with 3G speeds, though I've been kind of disappointed with T-Mobile's HSPA plus speeds lately. We'll see in the speed test in a few minutes if they can make me happy. So we'll look at the Droid 2 first here, and you can see, you know, definitely some lag. Now the page is still loading, so I'll give it time here to see. But you know, there's a little bit of lag when it comes to pinch to zoom, and let's have a look at the transition effects between portrait and landscape. Moderate. I mean, it's still laggy, but it's not terrible. But again, you know, this is a high-end device running a 1 gigahertz processor, and it's a high-end device in their lineup, so this thing needs to be moving pretty quickly. And I imagine, you know, these are some minor things that they've taken into consideration with the faster processor and the Droid 2 Global. So we'll see. But let's have a look here just to see. I mean, you can see, you know, pinch to zoom is not great on this device. Or at least it would frustrate me. Now, again, you know, first-time smartphone owner, people that aren't used to it, can't frustrate you if you don't know, if you haven't seen something faster. So, and a lot of this, I've been working with Windows Phone 7 lately, and a lot of this may be the fact that I'm spoiled by the buttery smooth transition effects. But you can see that, you know, it's definitely kind of laggy on this one. A little bit of a delay on the double tap. Zoom out. You can see there. Now let's have a look at the G2. And you can see, you know, there's a little bit of lag as well. Now, granted, both of these browsers are Flash capable, and they're running Flash right now. So, you know, in the comments, I often get the comment that, oh, you know, this if it wasn't running Flash, it'd be so much better. You're right. I mean, but granted, out of the box, I'm pulling these out of the box as a consumer would see them, and as a consumer would see them, they're a bit laggy. So, you know, this one, that said, the G2 is running slightly faster, at least in unofficial testing, than the Droid X, or the Droid 2 rather. You can see, you know, that's pinch to zoom is pretty quick and pretty responsive there, versus the Droid 2, which was pretty stuttery and kind of laggy all around. This one is seems to be moving much quicker. Transition effects reasonable on that device. You know, again, just to recap, 800 megahertz next generation Snapdragon processor, 1 gigahertz TI OMAP processor. It'll be interesting to see quadrant standard which one takes the cake. But just on web browsing, G2 wins it by a landslide. So let's have a look at the cameras while I'm thinking about it. Both are 5 megapixel cameras, both have flash, and jump into that here. And we'll take a picture of the Motorola flip side, just to give you an idea, an up-close idea of the keyboard. We'll take an up-close picture of the keyboard. There, bam. And an up-close picture of the keyboard there. So both have autofocus, and you can see, jump into the picture here, and there they are. So, you know, that's a tough, close call. I mean, they're both fantastic cameras. Don't get me wrong, for 5 megapixels, they're both fantastic cameras. And, you know, on the screen, it's a close call. And it's not entirely fair because this one has 54 more pixels on the screen versus the T-Mobile G2. That said, you know, I have to give, like, just looking at them on the screen, the slight edge goes to the Droid 2 because of the colors. The colors look more natural, whereas on the G2, I feel like those desk colors are a little bit washed out. And you can see, obviously, when I shoot these, I have lights pointing down. And you can really get an idea of the warm colors that are, you know, on the desk. It's lighting up the desk, and it seems more vivid and more accurate to me than this one. This is Mr. Mopey picture. Like, this is sad phone with a little sad desk behind it, you know. But in terms of picture quality, slight edge to that, and it really wins the slight edge as a result of the colors in the picture. Much more saturated and just a cleaner looking picture. But both are great, don't get me wrong, and for 5 megapixel cameras, either one of these is fantastic, but slight edge to the Droid 2. So let's have a look at the speed test one thing, or actually quadrant standard. Let's do that while I'm thinking about it. Let's go to quadrant, and let's run these. It's speed test time. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Run full benchmark. And we'll run those. And while that's running, let me talk a little bit about both devices. You know, I've used both of these devices in the Charlotte metro area. I use the Droid 2 in San Francisco. I use the T-Mobile G2 in the San Francisco Bay Area as well. And, you know, overall, I've been very pleased with the voice quality on both of these. One thing that I'm a big stickler on is the earpiece volume. You know, I don't know if I'm going deaf or if I've just held up too many phones up to my ear in my day. I guess that's why they call me Old Man McTweety. You know, but it's been, a lot of phones that have come out lately have had low earpieces, even at the fullest volume. Not the case with either of these. I had to turn down the volume on both of these devices. So overall, from an earpiece perspective, I've been very pleased with with the volume there. Reception has been good. Both of these have been taken to their respective dead zones in the city, and both have done, very well. Actually, with both of these devices, I was able to hold a call, though the call was pretty choppy. So, that said, it's still pretty cool that we can hold the call. Data speeds have been good given what they're capable of for the most part. Now, I've been really frustrated with HSPA Plus speeds on the G2, as I said. But, Verizon's EVDO Revision A service has been pretty decent. Let's have a look at the benchmarks. And 1375 on the Motorola Droid 2, as opposed to, or coming in higher than the Nexus 1, the Moto Droid X, the Evo 2.2, Moto Droid X without Furuyo, Samsung Galaxy S. 1375 now. On this one, 1526. So I have to crown the G2 the winner in the unofficial speed test. This one came in faster than the Nexus 1, the Droid X, the Evo, and the non-Furuyo-equipped Droid X as well. But it came in at about 200 points faster. So 1526 to 1375, G2 wins that battle. Let's have a look at the speed test. And that'll be our final speedish test to see which network wins the prize. Now, obviously, HSPA Plus capable. And HSPA Plus at its theoretical peak does run faster, so it'll be interesting to see. Kick these on Charlotte. Charlotte. Okay, good. And we'll begin the test. And let's see who gets it. Looks like HSPA Plus is moving relatively nicely today. 3,422 kilobits per second, as opposed to 1,093 kilobits per second on the Verizon side. Upload 1,335 kilobits per second on the G2. Upload on the Droid 2. Looks like it's going to come in at about 200. Well, 104 kilobits per second. It's a pretty dramatic difference between the two devices. And we'll do a test again just to see. But, pretty dramatic difference there. And while it's doing the speed test, I'll close out. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the T-Mobile G2, the Motorola Droid 2 on the website, so be sure to stay tuned to PhoneDog.com. You're going to ask me who the winner is. I'm going to have to say by narrow margin, it's the T-Mobile G2. Now, both of these devices are great. If you're on Verizon, you can't switch. Stay with the Droid 2. It's a great device. If you need the keyboard, it's a fantastic unit. Or take a look at the Motorola Droid Pro, which comes out later this week, if you need a full QWERTY keyboard. But, and the T-Mobile G2 is great. If you're on T-Mobile, don't want to switch to Verizon, stay with the G2. But in terms of, comparing these, forgetting the carrier for a second, and comparing these, if I was a new customer and could go anywhere, I'd go with T-Mobile and get the G2. Wins by narrow margin on that front, but I think you'll be happy with either one of these devices. Be sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're giving away 100 iPads and a trip to the Super Bowl in 2011. You could win. Head over to the page, like us, facebook.com/PhoneDog. Enter the sweepstakes for a chance to win one of those great prizes, and be sure to follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron. Ask me questions you have about this. You think I'm crazy. You think the Droid 2 is the best phone in the world. You think the G2 is the best phone in the world, and you think I'm the coolest person in the world because I crowned it the winner of this dogfight. Either way, let me know. PhoneDog_Aaron. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.